Oreo Big Stuff.
Oreo Big Stuff.
This new C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's.
The 1980s gave us neon clothes, big hair, and some unforgettable snacks. But not every treat was a success. Food companies launched bold, quirky products hoping to capture the decade's wild spirit, yet many flopped hard. From bizarre flavor experiments to marketing disasters, these snacks were hyped but quickly vanished from store shelves. Some were ahead of their time, while others were simply inedible. Today, they live on only in nostalgic memories and what were they thinking lists. Join us for 20 famous snacks from the 1980s that failed miserably.
Have a fork scratching.
Phileas Fogg, first-class snacks from around the world.
Let's take a tasty trip back to 1982. Three friends in the UK, Roger McKechnie, Keith Gill, and Ray McGee, put in £67,000 to launch a new snack brand. They called it Phileas Fogg. Their idea was to create fun, grown-up snacks with a worldly twist. Think tortilla chips and mini garlic breads. Each pack felt like a small adventure, inspired by the famous explorer Phileas Fogg. By the late 80s, the brand was a hit, pulling in more than £30 million in sales. But in 1993, big company United Biscuits bought it. The founders left, and the new team changed the look and feel too much. Fans lost interest quickly. In 2009, the brand staged a comeback with updated recipes and a focus on real, authentic ingredients. Later, KP Snacks took over and added more world-inspired treats. But the momentum didn't last, and the brand faded from shelves once again.
He's our middleman.
Oh, magic middles from the Keebler Elves in 3 delicious flavors.
Cookies are usually sweet, but Keebler wanted to surprise you. In 1989, they introduced Magic Middles, soft cookies with a hidden fudge or peanut butter center. Each bite had 2 textures, a crumbly cookie outside and a gooey filling that seemed to melt in your mouth. That little twist of magic made them stand out. The cookies looked simple, but the center made them special. Keebler ran ads showing the surprise inside, promising a snack full of fun and flavor. At first, the shelves emptied quickly. People packed them in lunches, shared them at parties, and remembered them as a treat that felt a bit different from everything else.
Keebler Magic Middles. We hide lots of delicious melted chocolatey filling inside.
But the magic didn't last forever. After a few years, Keebler discontinued Magic Middles, likely sometime in the late 1990s or early 2000s. Fans have speculated that the cookies were expensive to make or that the company shifted focus to other lines. Whatever the reason, Magic Middles became a nostalgic favorite, a snack people still wish would return. The world of snacks never stops surprising, and the next one proved it in every bite.
Bonkers. Bonks you out.
Not every candy played it safe, and Bonkers proved that right away. Made by Nabisco in the 1980s, these chewy fruit pieces had a softer, fruity center tucked inside. The texture made them stand out instantly from the rest of the candy aisle. The commercials doubled down on the drama, showing giant fruit crashing down from the sky and knocking people over to emphasize just how bold the flavors were. It was silly, over the top, and exactly the kind of humor that grabbed kids' attention in the 80s. But the hype didn't last. Competitors like Starburst and Skittles were easier to market, with simpler products and stronger staying power. Once the flashy ads disappeared, Bonkers lost momentum. Sales declined, and by the early 1990s, they were discontinued. Bonkers promised big, explosive fun, and for a while, they delivered. But in the end, they faded away, leaving behind a sweet, nostalgic memory of the decade.
Girl Scout cookies.
Ever seen Girl Scout cookies that weren't cookies? That was Golden Yangles. Instead of something sweet, the Girl Scouts sold cheddar cheese crackers shaped like triangles. It was a quirky twist on their usual lineup and a product that stood out at the time. Golden Yangles appeared on order forms in the 1980s and lasted only a few years. By around 1992, they quietly disappeared from the lineup. Unlike Thin Mints or Samoas, the savory crackers just didn't stick around. Today, Golden Yangles are remembered as one of the stranger experiments in Girl Scout history. A snack oddity from the past and a reminder that even the most familiar traditions sometimes take unexpected turns.
New Giggles cookies. 2 kinds of cream in each funny face.
Are you gonna eat that?
If you grew up in the 80s, you might remember a snack that literally smiled back at you. Giggles cookies. These sandwich cookies weren't ordinary biscuits. They were shaped like smiling faces, with fudge or vanilla cream peeking through the cutout eyes and mouths. It was a playful design that made them instantly memorable, especially for kids who loved food that felt fun. Launched by Nabisco in the mid-1880s, Giggles had plenty of attention-grabbing features: colorful packaging, kid-focused commercials, and that quirky design. For a few years, they stood out from the endless sea of Oreos and Chips Ahoy as a lunchbox treat with personality. But their time was short. By the early 1990s, Giggles disappeared from shelves. While the exact reasons aren't officially documented, they never gained the lasting popularity of other Nabisco staples. Today, they're remembered less for their flavor and more for those smiling faces, a nostalgic reminder of one of the era's more playful cookie experiments.
Good old creamy peanut butter's gone. Boppers!
Peanut butter boppers were unlike anything else on shelves when Nature Valley launched them in 1985. Each one was a peanut butter log coated in a crunchy, candy-like shell with flavors like fudge chip, honey crisp, and peanut crunch. They came wrapped in shiny foil pouches, giving them a sleek, almost futuristic look for a snack. At first, boppers made a big splash. Their mix of candy and peanut butter felt fresh, and kids quickly took to them as a lunchbox favorite. But the excitement didn't last. Within just a few years, they quietly disappeared from store shelves. Fans remember them differently. Some call them the ultimate treat of the era, while others recall how messy they could get if left in the sun. Whatever the case, their run was short but bold. Today, peanut butter boppers are remembered as a snack that burned bright, then vanished, leaving people to wonder why such a unique hit had to go. Boppers teased your taste buds, PB Max slammed them with peanut butter goodness.
PB Max, we mean peanut butter.
Not every candy bar played it safe, and PB Max certainly didn't. It was a thick, chunky square built to impress. A crunchy cookie base topped with a hefty layer of peanut butter, all wrapped in smooth milk chocolate. Every bite was heavy, sweet, and impossible to ignore. Mars launched PB Max in 1989, and by the early 90s it was making waves. Ads leaned into its size and boldness, poking fun at smaller candy bars and promising more flavor in every bite. The strategy worked. PB Max reportedly hit $50 million in sales in its first year, an impressive debut for any new candy. Yet the story took an odd turn. Despite its popularity, PB Max disappeared from shelves within just a few years. Rumors spread that members of the Mars family weren't fans of peanut butter and didn't want it in the product line, though the exact reason was never confirmed. Whatever the cause, PB Max became one of the great what-ifs of candy history. A bar that could have been huge, but instead lives on as a cult favorite from the 90s.
Keebler presents the appealing taste of baked potato skins in a crunchy chip.
Curious what happens if you turn a baked potato into a chip. That was the idea behind Tato Skins. First launched by Keebler in 1985, these thick potato crisps were made from potato ingredients pressed into a shape that mimicked a baked potato. One side pale like the inside, the other browned like a skin. Fans loved the baked potato appeal gimmick right away. The crunch was hearty, and flavors like cheddar and bacon and sour cream and chives felt bold and fun. For a while, they stood out as one of Keebler's most memorable salty snacks. But in 2000, after Keebler was acquired by Kellogg's, the brand was licensed out. Tato skins reappeared under the TGI Fridays name through Poor Brothers, later in Venture Foods, though many fans said the taste and texture weren't quite the same. Today, TGI Fridays Tato skins are still around in some places, but snack fans often remember the Keebler originals with special nostalgia. The shape, the crunch, and the baked potato look gave them a personality all their own, one that later rebrands never fully captured.
Even people who love potato chips are surprised at how good Keebler's O'Boysies taste.
Keebler wasn't only about cookies in the late 80s and 90s. They also took a swing at the chip aisle with O'Boysies, a baked potato snack that puffed up with air bubbles and stood out from the smoother crisps people were used to. Each chip had a light, crunchy texture and came dusted with heavy seasoning that made the flavors pop. Sour cream and onion, cheddar, and barbecue were among the favorites. Because they were baked rather than fried, O'Boysies carved out a niche in a market dominated by Lay's and Ruffles. For a while, that difference helped them stand out. Kids packed them in school lunches, and plenty of adults kept a bag handy for late-night snacking. But like many experimental snacks, the excitement faded. By the late 1990s, O'Boysies quietly disappeared from shelves. Today, they're remembered as one of Keebler's boldest forays outside of cookies, a snack with a unique crunch and flavor that fans still wish would return.
Why is it? When I serve these new cheese crackers, I get fascinating reactions.
Nabisco once bet that crackers built around the bold taste of Swiss cheese would stand out. These weren't mild, background flavor snacks. They carried a tangy, nutty aroma that hit as soon as you opened the box. That intensity split people right away. Some fans loved the sharper bite, while others found it too much for casual snacking. Crackers are usually light and easy to eat by the handful, but these leaned heavier, with a flavor closer to sandwich cheese than a mellow snack. The idea was clever: bake the taste of a classic cheese straight into a crispy bite, but it proved too niche. With easier, kid-friendly options like Cheez-Its and Ritz on the shelves, Nabisco's Swiss cheese crackers slowly lost ground. They built a small but loyal fan base, yet eventually disappeared, remembered today as one of the boldest experiments in the cracker aisle.
My name is Roland, and these are Fruit Wrinkles.
At first glance, these looked like candy. Small, chewy pieces in bright colors packed into playful boxes kids could slip into their lunch bags. The pitch was simple: fruit-flavored, bite-sized, and easy to snack on. But the chewy candy aisle was already crowded in the 1980s. With fruit roll-ups arriving in 1983 and Skittles gaining popularity after their U.S. debut in 1979, competition was stiff. Compared to those bright, bold brands, Fruit Wrinkles never caught on. Their name lacked the energy of their rivals, and whatever regional sales they achieved didn't last long. By the end of the decade, they had largely disappeared, leaving behind only faint memories among those who tried them once or twice. In a time when colorful, exciting snacks thrived, these simply faded into obscurity. Lunchbox misses aside, the 80s knew how to make cereal feel like a galaxy adventure.
We'll call them C-3POs.
New C-3PO cereal from Kellogg's.
Star Wars fever was still strong in the 1980s, and Kellogg's joined in with a themed breakfast cereal. Launched in 1984, C-3POs came shaped like small, honey-flavored figure-8 O's. The bright box featured C-3PO himself in bold colors, making it an instant collectible for fans. Curiosity and the Star Wars name brought attention, but the cereal itself didn't stand out. Lightly sweetened and fairly plain, it lacked the punch of established favorites like Frosted Flakes or Honey Nut Cheerios. Without marshmallows or a distinctive flavor, it felt more like an ordinary oat cereal wearing Star Wars packaging. While the boxes remained memorable, the cereal quickly faded from shelves. C-3POs became another short-lived licensed product, remembered more for the tie-in than the taste.
New Hostess pudding pie. What's up? Plain pudding never tasted this good.
Hostess built its reputation on snacks that were easy, fun, and portable. In the 1980s, the company introduced pudding pies, a twist on their popular fruit-filled pies. Instead of cherry or apple filling, these handheld treats came stuffed with thick pudding in flavors like chocolate, vanilla, and banana. On paper, it sounded like an upgrade, but in practice, the pudding made them harder to enjoy. Unlike fruit fillings, the softer texture often oozed through the crust and left a mess. The rich sweetness also made them feel more like a heavy dessert than a quick snack. The pies didn't stay on shelves for long. While some fans still remember them with nostalgia, Hostess pudding pies are generally recalled today as a short-lived experiment that never found lasting success.
New O'Grady's potato chips are sliced thick because thicker means more potato taste.
In the 1980s, Frito-Lay introduced O'Grady's Chips, a line designed to feel different from standard potato snacks. They were cut thicker, with deep ridges and a loud crunch that the packaging promoted as heartier than ordinary chips. The idea was to deliver more potato flavor and a stronger bite than brands like Lay's or Ruffles. Despite the bold pitch, O'Grady's struggled to connect. The heavier texture set them apart, but it also made them less appealing as an easy, light snack. On top of that, the chips cost more than familiar favorites, which hurt repeat sales. By the end of the decade, the line was gone. Years later, kettle-cooked chips found lasting popularity with a similar, thicker and crunchier approach. But O'Grady's is mostly remembered as an early attempt that didn't last.
Your love the first bite, outrageously right. New
Kudos bars debuted in 1986, positioned as granola bars but packaged more like candy. Their shiny wrappers, chocolate drizzle, and sweet flavors stood out on shelves. While they contained oats and grains, the candy-like coating made them feel closer to a treat than a health snack. For kids, that was the appeal. Lunchboxes felt cooler with a Kudos bar inside, and they became a popular trade at school. Over time, the nutritional profile caught up with them. The bars were high in sugar and didn't align with the wave of healthier snacks that rose in the 2000s. Mars tried to refresh the brand with new versions, including M&M's and peanut butter flavors. But the question lingered: were they candy or granola? Caught in the middle, Kudos lost ground to both candy bars and natural snack brands. By the late 2000s and 10s, Mars discontinued the line entirely, leaving them as a nostalgic memory of school lunches from the 80s and 90s. After all that chocolate and oats, a funny little cracker waddled in, but kids weren't impressed.
Introducing Quackers, little ducks with a lot of flavor. So now...
In 1987, Nabisco introduced Quackers, duck-shaped cheese crackers sold in bright, cartoon-like boxes. The marketing leaned into playful quack jokes and kid-focused ads, aiming to make the snack stand out on shelves. The shape caught attention, but the flavor didn't. Compared to bolder snacks like Goldfish or Cheez-Its, Quackers were remembered as mild, with a drier crunch and less cheesy taste. The novelty wore off quickly, and the line failed to find repeat buyers. Within a few years, Nabisco discontinued Quackers. Today, they're mostly recalled as a short-lived experiment that proved shapes can attract curiosity, but taste decides staying power. In the late 1980s, the makers of Hubba Bubba bubblegum ventured into the beverage aisle with a pink bubblegum-flavored soda produced by Shasta. The drink's unusual flavor and bright branding caught attention as a novelty, especially among kids drawn to the connection with the popular gum. The taste, however, proved divisive. Many found it overwhelmingly sweet, more like liquid chewing gum than a refreshing soda. While it worked briefly as a curiosity, it wasn't a flavor that encouraged repeat purchases. By the early 1990s, Hubba Bubba Soda was discontinued. Today, it's remembered as one of the era's stranger brand experiments, a product that stood out for its bold idea but couldn't hold a place on store shelves.
When it gets hot around the WWF, you get a WWF Superstars ice cream bar.
In 1987, the WWF superstars of wrestling ice cream bars hit freezer aisles through a partnership with Good Humor. Each bar came on a stick, with a chocolate-coated back and a cookie top stamped with an image of a wrestler. Stars like Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Macho Man Randy Savage turned the snack into both a dessert and a collectible. Every box even included a trading card, giving kids something extra to hold on to after the ice cream was gone. The bars quickly became a fan favorite. The mix of cookie, chocolate, and ice cream was simple but satisfying, and the wrestling tie-in made them a cultural touchstone of the late 80s and 90s. They weren't just a brief fad. The product stayed in production for more than 2 decades, becoming a staple of wrestling nostalgia. By the late 2000s, though, licensing changes and shifting sales brought their run to an end, and the bars were discontinued in 2009. WWE later revisited the idea with limited revivals, but for most fans, the originals remain a frozen classic that blended food and fandom in a way few snacks ever managed.
Pudding?
How can it be? I can't believe my eyes. Pudding roll-ups.
In the late 1980s, Betty Crocker experimented with pudding roll-ups, a spin-off of their popular fruit roll-ups. Instead of fruity sheets, these came in dessert flavors like chocolate, vanilla, and banana, aiming to give kids a portable pudding snack. The idea looked fun on paper, but the execution was less successful. The pudding sheets were sticky, messy, and awkward to eat. Parents complained about the sugar and the sticky hands and clothes that came with it, and kids didn't find the taste worth the hassle. Despite colorful packaging and playful marketing, the product never caught on. Pudding roll-ups were quickly discontinued, remembered today as one of the quirkiest and stickiest snack experiments of the 1980s.
Mr. Big Stuff.
Introducing Oreo Big Stuff.
Who do you think you are?
In 1984, Nabisco introduced the Oreo Big Stuff, a cookie that lived up to its name. Measuring about 3 inches across, nearly 10 times the size of a standard Oreo, it came individually wrapped as a standalone snack. Each one packed a hefty load of sweetness, with roughly 316 calories and 13 grams of fat per cookie. The Big Stuff drew attention for its sheer size but proved too large to become a lasting part of Oreo's lineup. After 7 years on shelves, Nabisco discontinued the product in 1991, shifting focus to other Oreo varieties that better fit everyday snacking habits. Today, the Big Stuff is remembered as one of Oreo's boldest experiments, a larger-than-life cookie that left a big impression before fading into nostalgia.